Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about a massive, game-changing shift in artificial intelligence architecture. We are finally unlocking agents so they can actually go out and execute tasks in the real world. Specifically, we'll be exploring exactly how to connect Google's Agent Development Kit, that's the ADK, to MCP servers. It's an absolutely crucial evolution, so let's get right to it.
Okay, let's dive into this by starting with a pretty fundamental question. Why are AI agents essentially trapped in a box? We all know large language models are, well, incredibly smart. But historically, if you actually wanted that model to do something useful, like read a file, query a production database, or push some code, you, as the developer, had to sit there and write a brittle, custom integration for every single new tool. You literally had to teach the AI how to talk to that specific system from scratch. It is incredibly frustrating and honestly, deeply unscalable.
Think about it kind of like this. Do you remember having that one drawer full of just a tangled mess of different charging cables? You had one for your phone, a totally different one for your camera, another weird one for your e-reader. That is exactly what building custom AI integrations is like today. It's a messy drawer of scattered APIs. Enter the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. This is the elegant solution. It is literally the USB-C port for AI. It's a universal standard. So instead of writing a custom connector for every single tool, you get one universal, reliable way of plugging your AI straight into the external world. So here's our agenda for the explainer today. 1. The AI integration problem. 2. MCP, the universal adapter. 3. ADK agents as MCP clients. 4. Real-world execution examples. And finally, 5. Security and enterprise governance.
Starting off with Section 1, the AI integration problem.
Right now, building agents without a standard protocol is just chaotic. Like we said, you're writing custom integrations for every single tool. You might be relying on these really brittle, ad hoc setups in frameworks like LangChain, frameworks that honestly were never originally designed for massive dynamic tool discovery. Plus, you've got API keys and credentials just scattered everywhere, which is a total security nightmare. Ultimately, you just end up maintaining this giant mountain of unscalable glue code. It's tedious, it's fragile, and worst of all, it keeps developers from focusing on the actual agent logic.
Moving on to Section 2, MCP, the universal adapter. So the crucial point is that the Model Context Protocol isn't just another API. It's an open standard built solidly on JSON RPC 2.0 that standardizes exactly how large language models communicate with external applications and data. It gives you one consistent interface for exposing resources, prompt templates, and executable tools. If your AI application speaks MCP, suddenly it can talk to any system on the planet that also speaks MCP. It's a real game changer.
Let's demystify how this actually works under the hood with a standard client-host-server architecture. Step 1. The LLM analyzes what the user is asking for and chooses a specific tool from its available options. Step 2. The MCP client, which sits right inside your AI host application, formats that intent into a standardized JSON RPC call. Step 3. The external MCP server receives this call and actually executes the function. That could be querying a database, fetching a file, you name it. And finally, Step 4. The server returns the result in a nicely structured format back to the LLM so it can formulate its final answer. It's just a remarkably clean, secure, and predictable loop.
And if you're sitting there wondering, well, is this standard actually catching on? Just consider this number, 10,000. There are already over 10,000 active MCP servers out there right now, and the SDKs are seeing something like 97 million monthly downloads. This isn't just some theoretical whiteboard concept. It's seeing absolutely explosive industry adoption. The developer community is rapidly building out these universal connectors for almost every major platform you can possibly think of.
Let's jump into Section 3, ADK agents as MCP clients.
Google's ADK makes this integration beautifully simple, using a class called the MCP toolset. You can really just think of the MCP toolset as ADK's built-in bridge to the entire MCP world. When you attach it to an ADK agent, it handles the whole shebang. It connects to the server, it dynamically discovers the available tools, and seamlessly translates their schemas right into ADK-compatible formats. So, when your agent wants to use a tool, the MCP toolset transparently proxies that call over to the server. You don't have to write a single line of custom integration code to make it happen.
And this brilliantly illustrates a massive architectural shift we are seeing right now. The old way of integrating AI relied really heavily on stateless REST APIs, right? You fire off a request, get a response, and just kind of hope the context wasn't lost in the transaction. The new way, powered by MCP and managed perfectly by the ADK MCP toolset, utilizes stateful MCP sessions. MCP establishes persistent, stateful connections between the client and the server. This allows for rich, continuous context, back-and-forth dialogue, and complex multi-step workflows that simple REST calls simply cannot natively support. And the best part? ADK just handles all this complex asynchronous lifecycle stuff completely effortlessly in the background.
All right, Section 4, Real-World Execution Examples.
Because of the MCP toolset we just talked about, your ADK agent can instantly plug into a massive variety of tools out of the box. Need your agent to read some local logs? Just hook it up to the file system MCP server. Building a dynamic travel planner? Connected to the Google Maps MCP server for real-time directions. You can easily attach a financial datasets MCP server to pull balance sheets and stock prices, or link up to the GitHub MCP server to let your agent read pull requests and actually scaffold code. The capabilities here are practically limitless, all because the adapter is finally universal.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Security and Enterprise Governance.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is comparing the two main transport methods when connecting your ADK agent to an MCP server. You can use standard input/output, often called STDIO. This is awesome for local development or single-tenant isolation. It's incredibly simple to set up, but it does come with some process overhead. On the flip side, for production, you can use remote HTTP with server-sent events, or SSE. This is network-based and highly scalable for multi-tenant environments, but, and this is a big but, it strictly requires robust authentication and network infrastructure to do it right.
And thankfully, that governance side of things is evolving rapidly. We are finally moving away from just handing raw, powerful API keys directly to language models. Now, through providers like Stitch, MCPA, actually supports standard OAuth 2.0 flows and dynamic client registration. This means your agent requests scoped permissions just exactly like any modern app would. Furthermore, enterprise tools like Form.io provide strict, scoped domain boundaries so your AI agents only ever touch exactly what they're supposed to touch. No rogue agents here. And when interacting with cloud resources, you can firmly enforce least privilege IAM guardrails. Simply put, standardization brings far better security.
Let's move to and see how this builds up to one core mic drop idea. MCP turns an AI from an isolated brain into a versatile doer. By standardizing exactly how models communicate with tools, data, and prompts, we are completely changing the paradigm here. We are no longer just predicting the next word of text. We are actively engineering agents that can fetch context, execute complex workflows, and interact securely with the very systems that run our modern businesses.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Think about the biggest bottlenecks in your daily operations right now. If your ADK agents can now use the Model Context Protocol to plug into virtually any system on Earth securely, reliably, and without you having to write a mountain of custom glue code, what previously impossible workflow are you going to automate first? The tools are quite literally right here waiting for you. Get out there and start building. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.